Hello fellow YoraHomers. Today we're going to be installing the YoraHome Yora 3018 Pro Dust Shoe Pro Plus package. This is going to fit the 3018 Pro as well as the 3018 Pro with the upgraded Y-axis, or we call the 3036. I'm installing it on my 3036 test unit, but it will fit either machine. In the kit, you're going to find there's a hose to connect your dust shoe to a shop vac. You will have the dust shoe assembly itself, which includes the brush and shoe, a 1/2 inch spacer that attaches magnetically, and then you have the motor mount and hose fitting assembly. Also attaches magnetically. To do this install, I also recommend using blue Loctite. This is attaching to the bottom of your spindle motor, which does produce a lot of vibration, and I highly suggest using some Loctite on these M4 by 10 millimeter screws that the kit comes with. First thing you're going to want to do for the installation is move your bed all the way back to get maximum access to the bottom of your spindle. Additionally, I recommend putting your Z-axis all the way up, again giving you the most possible access to the bottom of the spindle motor. You're going to need to remove the bottom collet. Just unscrew it. I had mine most of the way there. We need free access for that fitting to kind of slide over this onto the bottom of the motor. Additionally, you're going to want to make sure that the motor has 6 millimeters of space between the bottom and the clamp. So this exposed part of the motor, there should be 6 millimeters. If you've installed this according to the assembly instructions and the clamp is lined up with that metal spacer that's around the spindle motor, that should be the right spacing, but you can just go ahead and double check. You also need to make sure that the holes in the bottom of the spindle motor, here and here, so there's 2 round threaded holes, and then you've got 4 sort of rectangular vents. The 2 round holes, you need to be oriented along the x-axis the way I have them now. So not front or back or crooked. You want this hole and this hole to be straight in line with your left to right x-axis. Now, first thing you're going to want to do is take your dust shoe assembly and separate the 3 pieces so that all you have is the motor mount and hose fitting. We're going to be installing screws from the bottom, this is the bottom, through these 2 holes, and they go up into the motor. This is where you're going to use your blue Loctite. You're going to put some on the screw. I'm not doing it on here because this is just temporary for this video, but you put your blue Loctite on your screw, and then you're going to insert it through the hole, and then using a hex key, M3 I think, should have come with the kit. I'm using a ball driver like I normally do for installs, but the 3018 kit does have the right size. So I just kind of insert it in and hold it with the driver, and then you're going to slide the end of the collet up through the hole and then kind of line it up, and you will feel sort of where that grabs the hole. Now I only screw it in part way. I want to leave myself a little bit of play to get the other screw in, which you'll put blue Loctite on. Go ahead and I think I can do it with the tool. Push it up in and then screw it in. I will move the camera so you can see kind of where these 2 screws are going. but there's really only two holes for them, so it's pretty straightforward. And tighten them so they're snug. Don't over tighten them. This is plastic, so you're not, you can break it if you over tighten it. Go back and tighten up the other screw now that you had left loose. All right. So this is what we are looking at. You can see underneath now I've got these two screws here and here holding this assembly onto the end of the motor. Now if it's a little bit crooked, what you can do is loosen your clamp, and then you can kind of turn it using this and make it nice and straight. And go ahead and tighten your clamp up if you do that. Now you can replace the collet. It's fun to do one-handed. I'm not going to tighten it down all the way, but you get the idea. And then go ahead and put your preferred tool back in. Now this does come with the brush assembly. There are these pins, they're magnets. There's corresponding holes in the bottom of this. This basically just finds where it belongs. They're very strong magnets. So you can use it without the spacer. You really want to try and find a depth where this is really just touching your workpiece. You don't want a lot of space, but you also don't want your workpiece mashing into this too much, because it will provide some resistance and might stress the z-axis a little. So you're going to need to sort of fine-tune the height, and that's really where that spacer comes in. If you happen to be using a longer tool, you can go ahead and place this spacer first, and again same magnetic assembly, and then this here you just get it near where it goes, and it goes right where it wants. So that adds a 1/2 inch if you need the extra space. Now the hose is actually very straightforward. The rubber side of it goes on the inside of the fitting here. I'm not going to push it all the way down, but you'll want to sort of hold it and push and twist this down so it's good and firm. And then the other end has an adapter that should fit over the end of a small shop vac hose. You'll probably want to support this hose somehow, maybe some string and rubber bands. Some type of solution is probably a good idea to ensure that this is not going to get in the way of anything. There's plenty of hose here to sort of then mate with the hose on your shop vac, and between the two you should have plenty to work with. Okay, well, that's about it for the installation of the Yora 3018 Pro Dust Shoe Pro Plus package. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out via the group or contact support via email or the phone number. Have fun.
Jungle.